Hello, guys. So, this tweet came out the other day from Ryan McCaffrey, and it reads, I was wrong to drink the current gen won't hold back the next gen Kool-Aid. I've talked to enough people, it might make sense for some games, but not AAA system seller. Kind of a bit, yeah, but not AAA system sellers. Kind of big budget production. And he went on to say release the power, whatever. But this tweet started yesterday and it just led to a whole hailstorm. And here's what's crazy. These are your industry journalists who are saying this dumb shit. This is your how is it this guy's been in the industry since official Xbox magazine, because Ryan McCaffrey was originally on official Xbox magazine, then he went to the that Xbox, like inside Xbox when it was on 360, and now he works for IGN. All that time, he didn't see this coming. How the hell are these people intellectuals, reporters, and all this other shit in the gaming industry? What have you been doing? And then, you have the damage control from Fanboys. I've seen, first of all, let's get this out the way. You had, I want to say it was Cole Eastwood, where I had red flags with him already. This dude was talking about how good next gen games are going to look, right? They look so good, he took a picture, or was it a snippet of gameplay, and reprocessed it from the original Halo gameplay showcase to make it look better. That that's how good Halo Infinite looked, or it will look on Series X. That he had to take the game and then make it look better. Going mainstream again was one of the worst things to ever happen to this industry. I I will say that till the day I died. And then you have the news regurgitators, just the on YouTube. News regurgitators are more or less vultures, or view vultures. They're occupy it's when a news story comes out. The easiest way to describe these guys, they're like salesmen at a car lot. As soon as you drive up, these sharks are ready to just claw at your heels. Any news story that drops, you have news regurgitators just jumping at it, like hungry piranhas on a cow. And what's crazy is they don't possess any. They're not saying. I'm listening to their videos. They're not saying anything like groundbreaking. They're not saying like their opinion lines up with everybody else's opinion. What is wrong with these people? And then the Xbox fanboy cuck, he's always flip flopping about nothing. What do I mean? He will flip flop first when you know it's obvious when you point this out to him, as I pointed out months and months ago, that a console 10 times weaker is, if you think a console 10 times weaker or anything 10 times weaker than the newest spec machine that you're developing for, if you think that is not holding back the new machine, you're retarded. And here come Xbox fanboys. Well, you have to understand Microsoft's strategy. It's about pushing Game Pass on as many platforms as possible. What? It's about Game Pass. Then Then you had the, well, Phil said. They love to bring that one up. And somehow those two arguments justify the poor visuals that we saw with Halo Infinite. Somehow it justified it. That's the crazy part. Well, in their eyes, it justified. In my eyes, it made them look even more delusional. And it completely boggles my mind how these industry pundits, man, these industry pundits, what is the point of listening to them if they're just going to, if they're going to be saying, how can you be in an industry for 15 plus years and you're making, intern mistakes? Well, yeah, I guess that's a better, I think it's a pretty good way of putting it. And then today, Jeff Keighley came out and said he equated Game Pass to basic cable, which it is. Only good thing on Game Pass is third party games. And that's the bitter truth that fanboys do not want to admit. Any game that is launched on Game Pass day one has been horrible. Gears of War 5 was meh. Whoever put that, nominated that for Game of the Year, all I'm going to say is money changed hands. And then you had the Microsoft flip flop. We don't believe in generations, but we're making a next generation console, but it's an extension of the previous generation because we're allowing new exist games that to work on both. And when you have such completely different hardware, they forget to mention when you have completely different hardware. When you have technology that is, when you have a hard drive that is 100 times faster than the previous generation. How is it? Hard drives are used to load in worlds. How the hell is that not going to be a problem? How the hell is a desktop CPU? How the hell is it developed what is basically a desktop CPU, a Ryzen 5 3600 with 8 cores and 16 threads, basically, versus a chip meant for tablets? And in the deluded world of the Xbox fanboy, he somehow thinks the Jaguar CPU isn't holding back Ryzen. And when you hear these justifications, they don't make sense. Game Pass, Uncle Phil, or what is it? There's Microsoft is pro consumer, despite selling you a next gen console for more money that's not giving you next gen experiences. Okay, okay, and I guess that kind of makes sense. It, this completely boggles the mind, folks. And this console is going to be dead on arrival. There is no point in a 1X, in a Series X, excuse me, because there is a problem when you're bringing out games day one on PC. There is a problem when you're developing the same game for last gen as next gen. It's cool if, and I believe Supernova talked about this in a video, it's cool if a game comes to PC a year, 2, 3 years later. That's fine. But coming to PC day one, it's just, it makes it you can't you, it seems like you're appealing to a bigger audience, but in effect you're kind of cannibalizing your console. You've provided Xbox throughout this entire generation. And see, I knew there was a red flag when I saw them bringing PC games that are meant for Xbox Day One as a problem. When bringing Xbox exclusives to PC Day One, that's a very big problem because you're cannibalizing yourselves. You they have provided no reason to buy a console, the Xbox One or the Series X. There was no reason. The only reason I even got a One X was because games ran better on it. Because the original VCR Xbox was trash. And somehow that's gonna be running Series X games. Okay. But this is the dumb shit you have to deal with. And these are fanboys. These are not fans, because fans, I would hope, can see right through this. I'm gonna humble myself and say I hope they can see right through this. Because if you cannot see how a first of all, this console is going to be dead on arrival. If you can't see how losing what was going to be a trash Halo game as your launch exclusive wasn't a problem, if you can't see why bringing all your games to different platforms except the next gen one that you're touting, that despite you don't believe in next gens, or excuse me, generations, is a problem. So I really want an Xbox fanboy to tell me, what is the point of buying a Series X? Because what is actually even launching on this console? With the PlayStation, we have a very good idea what's launching. With this, we have no idea. So, I'm gonna leave it right there. Uh, I just had to get a piece of this because I am sick of people, these game journalists, if you will, who know nothing at all, who somehow have been in the industry for years and can't see the forest from the trees. And it just bugs me how dumb, how maybe I come from a different time. I I guess I do come from a different time, because this doesn't none of what Microsoft has done for the Series X for this generation has ever made sense to me. And it's completely pitiful to watch a $1 trillion company make startup mistakes. And dear old Uncle Phil, whether he has the board, is he, well, him and Aaron Greenberg are basically talking heads, let's call it what it is. But how can this dude not see the forest from the trees? How can he not see the writing on the wall that this is about to end up in one of the worst train wrecks in modern history? But I'm going to leave this video here. Rate, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do.